Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Combat Wrestling Network. I am your host, Adonis and Nazario. I'm joined today by my boy, JB3, James Berryman. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? Doing great. Just got done watching me some SmackDown, and it was a great night, and it was exciting.
That it was. I also heard you got a couple of theories floating out there. Hit me up earlier, let me know about them. So
Yeah,
glad
we'll
you bring those out.
We'll get it. Yeah, we'll get into those.
We're gonna put our tinfoil hats on and get into some theories with JB3. Raw was let's start out with the elephant in the room. Something that's progressively great, and it's about time. The women are gonna main event WrestleMania.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. We were thinking it was gonna happen. Everyone was talking about it since Survivor Series, really. But they announced it and they put big emphasis on it in the beginning of Raw. And Ronda Rousey came out for the promo in the beginning, and she tried to, she said, "You're welcome." She tried to, say it was her, but she really ain't lying. I mean, you think about it. You can't really.
She brings the casual star power to it, right? That'll fluctuate the numbers, but let's call it what it is. For the last 4.5 years, right, women's wrestling has evolved, almost like women's mixed martial arts over the last 4 or 5 years has turned into, it went from being okay to watch to good to watch to now it's the best of the women's in the world are elite.
Well, yeah, I agree. I don't know what their plans were, and I know the stars aligned, but I'm not taking anything away by saying it's true that Ronda brought that to the table either. I'm not taking anything away from the women's division. Like, it has definitely, I mean, all of them, Sasha, Bayley, Becky, Charlotte, even like all of them, even like the mid card that they have now. I mean, it's amazing to see the women go this far, and I know that they were going to get there. I just think that with Ronda coming in, and then with Becky having the fire that she has, it was undeniable. You had to put them in the main event because they were the main event. That's the way it is.
It's the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm. You got everything aligned, like you said, everything aligned perfectly. Should we add to that main event with the whole Charlotte win on SmackDown, or do you want to touch on that on the SmackDown side of the breakdown? Because if we're already talking about it, might as well bring it in and just get it out of the way.
We could probably wait. I don't know, maybe just because the match was really good.
Let's just lay out since it was announced that it's the main event. Let's and put everything into perspective.
Okay.
So not only is Ronda Rousey the Raw Women's Champion going to be defending her title in that main event, but this evening, Charlotte Flair beat Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title, and if it's to be believed, she's going to bring that into WrestleMania as well.
Well, with the way they've been booking the Raw title over the SmackDown Women's title, it would almost make sense that if they're going to take it off of Asuka and put it on Charlotte right before the main event, it should be also defended and unified together to make the undisputed women's champion. And maybe they can finally just start to get some better organization with the divisions and stuff with that. Maybe make it just like the tag division that they have going on. They can go across both brands and then bring a mid-card title later on into the picture, like the women's Intercontinental.
I think to unify them one time for like maybe a month, right? For the photo ops, for the publicity of it would be okay. But let's call it what it is. The women's division is already backed up as it is. I know I say it every week, but there's too many good women and not enough belts. To unify those belts means that you're clogging up another division.
Right. No, I agree. I would.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, if it was up to me, I'd build up that SmackDown title. But I'm just thinking that this is going to happen because of what's happened with the SmackDown Women's title. It's just been buried alongside with Asuka. And if they didn't take it off of her, I don't know. There's a lot they could have done. But if they're going to take it off of her, they're either going to build it up or get rid of it. Because what's the good? It's like having the U.S. title sometimes. It's like, what's the point of having all these titles if they're not even ever going to get defended?
It's true.
I agree with they got all the women, but they're not using them, and they're not using the women's title, and they're not doing anything with it
at all. I honestly think that it was the get it off of Asuka. They pushed Asuka I think as far as they're gonna be able to push her without her being able to cut a promo.
Yeah, that too, and I
think the ceiling for Asuka has been met. I think the ceiling for Asuka has been met, and until she takes the steps to break that ceiling, it's a wrap. I'm a fan of hers, but you can't come out wiggling your arms, doing a couple of cool moves, and saying nobody's ready for Asuka. Bitch, we've been hearing that for years already. Move on, Rosetta Stone, something, do something.
But you got to say, you got to know, but that worked in NXT.
It's not working anymore. Shit gets old. The best wrestlers of all time have been able to take a gimmick and either run with it or take that same gimmick and evolve it into something else. Whether for better or worse, longevity is created through evolution. And if you can't evolve,
I agree. I
agree. That's the same reason I think that the Sky Pirates haven't been called up from NXT.
I mean, it's look, you're right. That can happen. And when they give them crap gimmicks, you make chicken salad out of chicken shit type situation. Sure. But there's also bad booking, and Asuka's been booked bad. She got booked to lose to Charlotte at WrestleMania, which a lot of people were saying it was a good thing. Honestly, I don't think it was. I think they could have done so much more.
And then they booked her to lose against Carmella.
And then they booked her to lose twice to Carmella. And then they booked that's what I'm saying. They took the fire away, and then they put the belt back on her. For what purpose did it serve to give her that women's title? Now that Charlotte had the reign that she had, think about her reign now, and how much they used her. She can't make them put her on TV. And I agree with what you said with the language barriers and her not being able to speak good English. They're not going to want to put her on TV. So then it's like, what do you do?
Yep, take the belt off of her, put it on the biggest stage that wrestling has to offer, and then move on from there. Pretty much. All right. After the announcement that the women were going to be the main event at WrestleMania, these same women were in a beat the clock challenge. Ronda faced Sarah Logan, Charlotte faced Ruby Riott, and Becky Lynch went against Liv Morgan. Ronda set the tone at a minute 25?
Minute 25, yeah.
Submitting Sarah Logan. Charlotte was to go next, and she was unable to beat Ruby Riott within the minute 25 loss. She had the figure 8 on, just time ran out.
Ruby didn't tap.
Yeah, Ruby didn't tap. She held out. And then on the third match, Becky Lynch was supposed to face Liv Morgan straight up. Charlotte hit her with a big boot, softened her up a little bit. Liv had her way for about 30 seconds, and Becky was able to submit her with the disarmer with 10 seconds left, giving Becky the win overall.
Wait a minute. No, man. I'm sorry. I thought she got a roll up with like 7 left.
Did she get a roll up?
Yeah, she got a roll up.
Right. She went for the disarmer. She reversed the disarmer, and then she rolled her up.
Yeah. But she won. Ultimately she won the beat the clock challenge. Yeah, I didn't know what the point of this whole thing was, doing the beat the clock challenge. I wasn't really a big fan of it. I mean, I guess show something.
Yeah, they had to put them on TV. They had to show that all of them are capable of finishing a match fast, because even though Charlotte didn't beat the clock, let's call it what it is. 2-3 more seconds, it's over. That's still a win. That's still a win with under 2 minutes. It showed the world that they could all beat anybody under 2 minutes. That this is going to be a good fight.
Show the world that if you're not Charlotte, Becky, or Ronda Rousey, then
you don't belong.
That's the point. Yeah.
This isn't for you, son. This isn't for you. Like you said, it was pretty quick. it was more for Ronda and Becky to yell at each other. Charlotte was mostly on the sidelines pouting, and it was very uneventful. Like, to be honest with you, man, when we give our our rating, our 1 to 5, I could give it right now. This Raw was like a 1.5, 2 to me.
I agree. It was the same for me. It was the same.
The next match, yeah, like 1.5, 2. Very eventful, very sloppily paced show. I was bored for a good part of it. The next match was Finn Balor versus what was supposed to be Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. Lio Rush unable to medically compete, so they replaced him with Jinder Mahal.
And came out with the same.
Came out with the Singh brothers. It was, what you expect out of a handicap match. The big guys beat up on the little guy. The little guy catches them slipping. One of them makes a mistake. Jinder Mahal gets the coup de grace, gets pinned, and then Bobby Lashley, the Singh brothers.
Finn's
Good
going
time.
to WrestleMania.
At least he's going to WrestleMania, and it's going to be for a title match, and it's going to be straight up.
Yeah, it did its purpose. I feel like they got too many stories that they got to tell for WrestleMania. There's going to be like 4,682 matches at WrestleMania. It's going to be like a weekend.
I was thinking for next week's show, we do a 2-part. We'll do it on Wednesday, and we'll do our breakdown, and then the next show will be a prediction show. We'll give our predictions for who we think winners and losers of the big show are going to be, and pretty much try to make sense out of all these stories that are going on. What is it, 18 matches?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like 18 matches. It's just
supposed
crazy.
To be 7 hours?
I don't know. It felt like Raw was 7 hours, but the Aleister Black and the Ricochet match versus the Revival was a fresh match that I actually enjoyed going
That's
into.
The only reason that this is getting even a 2.5 rating for me. That match itself is a 4-star match, 3.5 star, maybe 4 stars a little pushing it. That's a 3.5 star match on a show that was a 1/2 star show.
Yeah, it was a great match. The double black mass, 6:30. I wonder if they're going to get a tag team title shot because they just, I love the Revival, but if they're going to beat the Revival, are they going to face the Revival? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out next week, right?
I mean, they have to do something with them. They got all this momentum going into Mania. To see them at a takeover the night before for nothing, or to see them in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal after all this momentum was developed, I think they need to have a Revival versus Ricochet and Aleister Black title match at WrestleMania.
I think so too. At least
open the show with it.
Yeah, either open the show with it, or to be honest, I wouldn't be opposed to having that on the main event of the pre-show. I mean, I know that a lot of people get flack for being on the pre-show, but more eyes are on the pre-show. That would be a match to get people to want to, I think, order WrestleMania. Maybe that's what I would do.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Set it up like a UFC prelim card where you put a really good match to main event the prelims, and it gets people to want to buy your pay-per-view, right? But then again, most people who are watching the pre-show, if they're not watching it on YouTube, they're more than likely watching it on the network. If they have the network, they get the pay-per-view anyway. Actually,
I don't know if they promoted it during Raw last night, but during SmackDown tonight, they promoted that. I'm pretty sure the pre-show is going to air on USA this year.
Really?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So I think that's going to be a bigger pre-show in my eyes, because it's pretty huge. That's like, it's probably going to be 2 to 3 hours. It's going to be like a Raw or SmackDown in itself.
That's a long pre-show. That's a long day.
It's going to be a very long day.
It's going to be a long day. Every other match, I'm going to FaceTime you and be like, yo, you alive? You awake still?
Right, for sure. Man.
After the Ricochet Revival, yo, I'm not gonna get off of it because that's the highlight of the night, man. I'm a big fan of watching Ricochet and Aleister Black team up together. And, you know, part of my ignorance, but were they really tight in NXT or they just kind of like linked them together and they just ran with it?
So, well, it's kind of crazy because I don't really think they started linking. They were linking together on NXT, but not like as a tag team, more like as friends fighting the same cause because you had the Undisputed Era, and then they went to War Games together and stuff like that. But what really happened is that, you know, Vince, I guess, had his breakdown or whatever and said, all NXT come up. So when they came up, you know, you had DIY who came up, and I believe they started really teaming on Raw, and because they were doing so well, they ended up entering the Dusty Rhodes Classic and teaming on NXT after that. So I'm pretty sure it was a mix of, you know, being, you know, on the same side of things on NXT and then that call up out of nowhere. And they were actually one of those matches, it was going to be Finn versus Ricochet, but Triple H came in and was like, whoa, hold up. That if Finn was the IC champ at the time, he was like, he's not losing. Ricochet's not losing. And he was like, have Aleister Ricochet versus, you know, Finn and that's when Ricochet was against somebody else, and then they started tagging with Aleister after that, and then I like it too, man. They're great together. I don't know how long they're gonna stay together because they're both single stars. I mean, come on, you know, but they can do the tag team thing. I wouldn't mind seeing it for at least a little while.
Yeah, get their feet wet. You know, a lot of big time singles competitors come out of tag teams, but it's just like their gimmicks don't match at all. Like it's two different worlds coming together, and that's what makes it kind of cool because they both bring something different to the table, and their aerial stuff and the strong style, like the Danish kickboxing stuff that that Aleister Black brings to the table, they complement each other really well.
I agree. They definitely complement each other very well. They belong on a WrestleMania card already. Another one that's on the WrestleMania card that I'm actually really excited for is Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns, and they had a little stuff on Raw. Nothing serious. The only thing it was doing is setting up the main event, which was Drew versus Dean in Last Man Standing match. And then we didn't really see much of Roman after that. We went straight into Sasha versus Natty. Beth and Bayley in the corners, and yeah, that was what it was supposed to do. It set up the tag team match. You know, Beth Phoenix, she got put over strong because the Samoan Slaughterhouse. That name is just ridiculous.
It is kind of ridiculous.
The Samoan Slaughterhouse. She put the glam slam on Tamina. That was cool. So set up that match really good. It was a good time. I'm excited to see that match. I really wish that was a ladder match. That fatal 4-way for the women's match.
Is it going to be straight up Natty and Beth versus Bayley and Sasha? Is that straight up?
So it's going to be Sasha.
Oh no, it's not. It's a fatal 4-way.
Yeah. It's going to be the Iconics. Sasha and Bayley. Becky. Gosh, I'm tripping up. Beth Phoenix and Natalia, and then the other team is going to be the Samoan Slaughterhouse. So yeah, it's going to be great. I want to see a ladder match.
That'd be kind of dope. Maybe they throw that in a gimmick next week.
Yep. And honestly, moving on, I think that I want to ask if we can consolidate this because we got Kurt, and we got Kurt. Okay, he wrestled Joe later in the night, but he did a promo, and Baron defeated Apollo. I just want to put it this way: I don't think that he's facing Baron. I'm really pretty sure that they're going to do a swerve and that they're going to have him face John Cena. I hope. And then, other than that, Raw was filled with a bunch of uneventful stuff. Like Elias's promos were funny. The moment of bliss with Alexa, with Braun Strowman, and Colin Jost. I think it's all just setting up the battle royal, the Andre the Mimic. I mean, Colin Jost and Michael Shea are both going to be in there, I think now. So that's going to be good. They did a bunch of that until Seth Rollins came out. And
he cut his promo.
He's been doing the same promo, but I'm really digging it. He's like, this is the time for Seth. This is the time for Seth to be the man. You know, to beat Brock. He has everyone with him. They want him to go to Suplex City and burn it to the ground. That's what they want to happen. And Paul sells it perfect every time. And I love how he said, we are going to go there and we are going to walk out Universal Champion. Beautiful. Oh, I love it. Do it up, Seth. I can't wait to watch it.
Take it all day. You had the Triple H promo stating that he agrees to put up his career as the last stipulation.
He was clowning on Dave.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. So it took you 13 years to figure out that I used you to keep my belt longer? You're an idiot.
Yeah, no holds barred. I'm excited for that. It's just another match on the card that I'm excited for. Just like you said, man, about Kurt Angle, he wrestled Samoa Joe, and he looks so stiff, jointed, like he can't move. You know,
it looks like somebody without the facial expression that everything they do hurts, and they don't want you to see it on their face.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I'm good. Thanks. I'm cool. I'm all right. You know, it's
yeah, and then there was
Baron Corbin finally beat Apollo Crews. Hit him with the deep six or the end of days. I think he hit him with the deep six twice, right?
Yeah, he might have hit him with a deep six, but he ended it with the end of days.
Yeah,
got the pin. He needed to do. If he is facing Kurt, they needed to do something. You know, because it's ridiculous. Yeah, but after the Triple we had Drew versus Dean Ambrose in a last man standing match that had like 12 minutes. Why they did another Elias segment? I don't know why they had to do another Elias segment. Whether they just could have gave more to this main event. And I don't know if Dean is leaving. I don't know if he's staying. Who knows?
I think he's done. I think he's done. And even when you have your wife tweeting and doing shoot interviews saying that, you know, they've been telling her to be quiet lately and don't say as much, and her feeling uncomfortable to even speak.
Yeah.
I think he goes, and I think she goes with him.
I hope so. I love hearing Renee, but I hope so.
Yeah, I like Renee Young. I like her commentary. She says some real slick shit. Like she throws side shade real quick and real cleanly too, and she's good at it. And that's why they've been telling her to shut up. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
You know, so she says what people like me and you are sitting home thinking.
See, we need more of that on there. We need someone to do that kind of stuff. But you know, when that happens, you get a shitty episode of Raw, and you got two people who struggle to even talk about it because it was so bad.
All right. Final analysis. I pretty much gave my rating, but for all new subscribers out there, we rate our shows 1 to 5. 1 being, what was one last week? R. Kelly's music career.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
R. Kelly's future in music was 1, and 5 was winning the lotto. So, what's your breakdown, brother?
I'm gonna give it a little above. I'm gonna give it a 2.
You're gonna give it a 2.
I'm gonna give it a 2 just because of the Triple H promo, the announcement of the main event, and I thought the main event of WrestleMania being the women, the triple threat for the title, and the Drew versus Dean last man standing match. It was a good match. I liked the match. It didn't get a lot of time, but you know they're great. Drew is awesome. Gosh, just like we talked about last week, they are putting Drew over big time. He's got big things to start. I wonder if he's gonna be I wonder if he's going to be ready for WrestleMania. I guess when we do that prediction video, I wonder. Maybe I'll think.
I got my prediction. I'm pretty sure I know what's probably going to happen there.
Well, we'll have to find out. We'll have to see. But yeah, I give it a 2.
All right. So Raw gets a 2. It's not quite R. Kelly's future in music, but shit, I'm still broke. They win the lotto.
Yeah. It's fighting for its fucking life here, man.
All right, moving on to the better of the 2 nights. SmackDown Live, where the New Day came out and teased about quitting until you had the old man come out and not say anything until he was interrupted by Daniel Bryan and Rowan, which led into McMahon offering them a chance, and not Kofi another chance. He offered it to Xavier Woods and Big E, giving them the opportunity to win their man a spot in WrestleMania through a gauntlet match. Set up the main event. What was your outlook on the opening of the show?
So when the New Day came out, I was pretty much thinking, okay, I thought that more people was going to come out and they were going to try to quit.
Yeah, that was your prediction. That was your prediction last week.
Yep. So I could see it happening, but you know, they did their thing, and then Daniel came out, or Vince came out, and then Daniel came out, called him a B+ player. I was okay with the decision. I tell you what, as soon as I heard about the gauntlet match, I was like, okay, I'm already going to be cool with this gauntlet match, but I don't want to see another gauntlet match for like a year. I'm so sick of those things now.
It's like they're pretty much taking the gauntlet match, they're washing it out, they're drying it, and they're handing it to the next person. Here, wear that next week.
Right. But yeah, I mean, they're putting it in their hands. They're putting it in his teammates' hands, and I was invested in the story, even though I was not really looking forward to watching another gauntlet match. But that was thinking that they weren't going to impress me with the way that they booked the gauntlet match, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I'm just on the edge of my seat, trying to find out and see how Kofi Kingston is going to find his way to WrestleMania and get his rightful shot and opportunity at the WWE Championship against Daniel Bryan. That's what I want. So I'm loving it because I'm sitting here watching it every week. I wasn't even excited for Raw. I was excited for SmackDown. I was like, I want to watch SmackDown. So
yeah, I wanted. I know we keep shitting on, we keep throwing shade at Raw, but I just wanted Raw to end last night. I was like, I have to watch this because, you know, I want to bring the subscribers the breakdown, but I'm torturing myself right now. This is ridiculous. I just wanted it to be over.
Yeah, 3 hours. 3 hours of BS.
And the funny thing is that this episode of SmackDown felt like it flew by.
Well, you know, one of the reasons I think that was the case, if you take notice on SmackDown, they have wrestlers making their entrance like right away. Like, so after the New Day did their segment or whatever, they had Becky. Becky Lynch came out. Yeah, she came out for. I don't know if she came out or I can't remember if it was.
She was cutting a promo.
Yeah, backstage cutting a promo. She was saying what she said and everything about Charlotte. And then Charlotte came out to the ring and was like, "I'll show you why right now." And then went to commercial. When we come back, and Asuka comes out. Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, the champion." And I was like, "What's she doing?" And I'm thinking about, wait a minute, she's facing Charlotte. And then all of a sudden, now the announcers acted like they didn't know because they announced it as the SmackDown Women's Title match, and the announcer was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I texted my friend, and he was like, "Wait, what?" I don't know. And I'm like, I gotta watch. So the match was
great.
Man, it was incredible. All kinds of near falls, all kinds of. They were playing off from their WrestleMania match. I mean, it was great. I wrote down. I have a lot of notes written down about the match itself. It was very technical, very, very technical. A lot of stiff strikes from Asuka. She was hitting some very stiff, hard kicks
on her back.
Yes.
Did you hear the one on the back?
Yes. I definitely heard it. And then Charlotte was doing her thing too. I was surprised because, you know, Charlotte did a super Spanish fly off the top. And I was like, whoa.
It was almost like a standing natural selection.
Yeah. And then Charlotte started raining down elbows, and then Asuka put her in an armbar and then a triangle. And then Charlotte picks her up and then hits a 6 sit-out powerbomb for the near fall. And I was like, by this time, I was all kinds of hyped up. This match was killing it. And then I don't understand why, but after that, after a little bit more action, figure 4, and then a figure 8. And then
you got tap.
And Asuka is no longer the champion. I wrote a note. I said, stupid, stupid, stupid. I guess it elevates the title. They should unify it.
I agree with you. Stupid, stupid, stupid. But now that I've thought about it, what else are you going to do with Asuka? It's sad, but it's true. We touched on it at the beginning of the episode. We could touch on it now real briefly. Has the ceiling been met? Is there something that we don't know about? Maybe she has a little injury that she could get one more match, but maybe she needs surgery. Maybe there's something we don't know. But if this is just that she's healthy, it's either the lack of promo or they want to do something different with this title. Maybe, like you said, unify it. Or maybe they just want to give somebody who can cut a promo and is proven, like Charlotte. Charlotte loses WrestleMania. Say they don't unify. She goes right back to SmackDown, and now she's the SmackDown Women's Champion, and you can roll with that. You can build off of that.
Right, but see, they put themselves in a predicament if they're going to do that, because what was she gonna pin or tap out Ronda Rousey? I don't see them doing that to Ronda. And if she taps out, or if Becky taps out Charlotte, or even pins Charlotte as the champion, and then she stays the champion and goes back to SmackDown, that diminishes that SmackDown championship. And it's like basically saying, which is what they've been saying the whole time, SmackDown is inferior to Raw. I mean, the Survivor Series.
My rebuttal to that would be, the rumor has been going around for 4 or 5 months now that Ronda needs a break. That Ronda either needs a break, she wants to have kids, whatever the thing is, that Ronda's going to take a break after WrestleMania. That she wants to focus on family. Let's just call it that, right? You have Becky pin Charlotte, and now you have the angle of where you have the Raw Women's Championship and the SmackDown Women's Champion talking shit to each other, but they're only going to cross paths at pay-per-views. Because now Becky is your Raw Women's champion, and let's call it what it is. Raw could use the star power right now. Because we just said that we sat through 3 hours of that shitty show, and I didn't care anything about it. The only time I gave a little bit of a shit,
they were all there still. They were all there. They were all there, not doing shit.
But it was just a little taster thing to give everybody a look at whoever bought tickets for the live event, to give Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte that, hey, look, we bought our stars. Look what they're doing. They're beating up the Riot Squad. They're not facing each other. The big match is next week when they have to team. We didn't mention that. They have to team together to face the Riot Squad next week. Maybe now, they butt heads because they can't work together. They cross paths. They beat each other up a little bit. Who knows? But,
well, there's a stipulation to that match. If they have to work together, if they don't work together, they're going to forfeit their chance in the main event.
Oh,
I don't know where I heard that. I think I heard one of the announcers talking about that tonight or something. But I heard it tonight. So they're doing. That's cool. I'm fine. I'm fine with that match. I'm okay with that build. I'm okay with that.
What?
I just
get back
think that from a booking standpoint, they should separate. If they're going to keep the title separate, then they need to keep them separate, and they need to give them both relevance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll touch on that on the go home show and our prediction show next week. After Charlotte walks out with her new title, Kurt Angle once again on his last. Before we talk about how the match went, let's give a shout out to Kurt Angle. Last time he's on SmackDown, bro. That's
Yeah,
a big that's a big deal onto itself. No matter how the match went, it was quick, it was interrupted. Just just saying that Kurt Angle will never wrestle on SmackDown again is a little sad. But
it is.
The Block can only do it for so long.
Yeah. You can only do it for so long. He's not really there anymore. It stinks because we really want him to be. We missed a lot of years of him in the WWE, and when he came back, it was just a little bit too late.
Yeah,
and you could see it in his match with AJ because AJ cut a really good promo before, but when they came back from commercial, he cut a promo backstage. It was very classy, very respectful to Kurt. And then he came out for the match, and if you notice, they didn't do anything really in the match. I mean, he kind of they did it. It was like a German, and then he went for the calf crusher, and then reversed into the ankle lock, and then Randy Orton comes in, RKO's AJ, Angle slammed to Randy, and then Kurt's music played. That was it, and that I guess Randy interrupted the match. It is what it is. It is what it is. He can't move, so they did what they could to further a storyline, which if anything,
get a little bit
it's good. Yeah, story.
Maybe they were trying to get that heat. It probably went over a lot of people's heads, but maybe they were trying to get the heat of, not only did Randy assault AJ going into their match at WrestleMania, but Randy also just ruined Kurt Angle's last SmackDown match.
Yeah, the commentator mentioned that they ruined his last SmackDown match. Hey, it'd be cool if he decided to come back next week, maybe for one last match. Maybe against Randy. Yeah, maybe say he wants to face Randy. I wouldn't mind seeing Kurt Randy come in there. Something. I don't.
And Randy's been around the block long enough that I'm pretty sure he has the respect for Kurt that he can work with Kurt. And make the match look believable and good.
Oh yeah, and you can definitely tell when Randy is motivated versus when he's not motivated. When Randy don't give a shit, you can see it in his in-ring actions for sure. When he cares, you can also see it in his in-ring. He tears the house down quite a bit.
All right. After that match, we had the Ray and his big ass son Dom promo. That boy's big. That's a big boy.
Yeah, pretty much the same as last week. They gave Kofi props. Dom talked well again. Maybe kind of grooming him for something. I don't know, but I'm excited for the U.S. title match. They did. Hey, with Samoa Joe's promo last night and this, at least they can build something up with everything they got going on.
This is true. You think Dom skips NXT?
Oh gosh, I hope not. I hope not. I hope
it'll be a bad look. Maybe get a little rub at Mania. Next thing you know, he's on NXT. Sounds about right?
I mean, hey, I'm down. It's crazy because of how big he is, and I heard someone. I don't know what. Maybe it was last week we were talking about it. About someone patenting the name.
Prince Mysterio. That Ray trying to copyright the name.
Yeah, so I like the name. I like it.
I like it
I
too.
also like The Miz. I think The Miz is awesome. He came out. He came out to a pretty big pop, and you know what I'm starting to notice? This is actually pretty cool because he came out to the ring, and as soon as he got into the ring, the crowd started chanting, "Miz is awesome," but they were saying it like the typical "this is awesome" chant, but they were just putting Miz in where they normally put this, And it was like, that's a cool chant because that's kind of always been a little subtle gimmick of his. He flips the E upside down to M. He always, you know, he always uses the Miz and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that was
Did you ever notice the microphones? They turned the WWE symbol upside down.
yeah. He had that when he won when he had John Cena's spinner belt and he was the champion. He had it fixed to where the E was upside down the whole time. So it didn't even spin. It was pretty cool. But yeah, he came out. He pretty typical Miz promo. He's gonna just kind of like the same stuff he was saying last week of how actually the promo was really similar to last week.
He said the same exact things. You put your hands on my father.
Yeah, exactly. Right in front of me. Yeah, he was really emotional. Like he got really like it was almost like he really felt it. But I still think his dad's a piece of garbage. You know? Hey,
time out. Don't tell me you felt for this man. Never was proud of him.
Right. You weren't. I mean, you tell me you weren't proud of your kid until he became a tag team with Shane McMahon. He was the WWE champion and main evented WrestleMania against John Cena and defeated him in the last match. He did that, but you weren't proud of him, and you never told him that. That's some shit. And then when Shane beat the shit out of him, he didn't do anything. He just stood there, watched his son get beat up. Tell you what. Someone started beating up my son. I don't care how old I am. I'll cripple my ass off that barricade and I'll break both my legs just walking over there to punch him in the face once.
All those chairs, my father would have hit him with a chair. You know that? My father would have, excuse me, sir, you mind getting up for a second? I need to borrow that thing you're sitting on. And God, there you go.
Yeah.
Take that. Oh, man. And then you had Shane come out with the army of security. And then behind the army of security, what was it? Shelton Benjamin, Carlos Colon's son, Insanity.
Sanity, yep. They were
I don't
there.
even know that kid. That's Carlito's brother and Carlos Colon's son, but I don't know that kid's name. What's that dude's name?
Is it? I think it's either Epico or something. I don't know. I don't know his real name.
We're gonna call him Carlos Colon's son because he threw 2 punches and got his ass whooped. That's about. So he's you're his $1,500 check.
Hey, the Shane was on fire on the mic, man. He was talking all kinds of smack.
He said, I wish I could have done more. He said, you look just as dumb as your father. Put up the image, and he puts the image holding his face.
Yeah, he drew the line. He drew the line when he said he should have never got Mrs. Mom pregnant. Like that was like,
you hear what he called him? His greatest mistake.
Yeah,
was getting your mother pregnant.
I'm so much more happier with Shane as a heel, but Miz finally gets out of the ring. He finally rushes security. I'm glad they didn't have him just stomp on the security like they mostly do. It was a fight. They were getting at him. It was rough. It was tough.
The ramp wasn't big enough. They had to have a little scuffle. You notice when they got the 35-foot ramp, the security always balls out like bowling pins. They held up one way. There was nowhere for them to go. They had to fight back.
Oh yeah, and after Shane was long gone, after they fought back, and yeah, Miz fought him off, did his thing, and the crowd loved it. And then the announcers were like, "Let's go! It's time for the main event of the evening."
Yes, sir. The gauntlet match. Gallows and Anderson open up against the New Day. Up, up, down, down. What, a minute and 30 into it? Anderson gets pinned. Move on to Shinsuke Rusev.
It was more eventful. Yeah, I do too. They shouldn't even, but what else are you gonna do? At least they got some stuff in, but
yeah, they got on TV. You know,
up and down, down.
Time. I got a prediction about Gallows and Anderson for next week's prediction show. By the way,
all right.
Yeah, I got a little. You got a conspiracy. I got some conspiracies too. Then you had the Shinsuke Rusev angle. It was a decent back and forth. I didn't expect much from that match. I think it's a Gallows and Anderson situation where they're not going to job them out, but they jobbed them out. You know what I mean, right? It was like squash, but
it was your typical tier system of tag teams that they got on SmackDown. You know, they got you're basically your best tag teams. And we'll go to the tail end. You know, you got Gallows and Anderson. They're probably going to leave WWE. You know, squash them, get them out of there. And then Rusev and Shinsuke, newly formed tag team. They ain't doing nothing with either of them. Buried Rusev multiple occasions. They a little bit longer of a match. Up, down, down. They're gone. And then the bar. They're the bar. So you got three more segments to this portion of the match.
The bar threw beating. Good. The bar threw a beating on the New Day.
Typically do. There was a couple good spots, a couple nasty uppercuts from Cesaro, a Machka kick that looked gross,
real stiff, very stiff, very stiff on the bar's end, very stiff. They get the roll up, right?
Yep, the roll up Sheamus.
They get pissed. Big E goes through a table.
Big E goes to the table, and then the Usos come out, and this was one of my favorite segments.
This is probably one of the best moments of the evening.
Yeah, because at first they got in the ring, right, and they were like, "Let's go." They're like, "Get his ass up, let's go, let's do this." And then they got the mic and went in the ring, and then
I think they paid him the respects that they deserved. They're like, "Listen, you know, we're not going to do you dirty. We already went to war with you multiple times. You got our respect. Kofi got our respect. We forfeit. Good luck with what's going on." And that's the classiest thing you could do. You know, one, they're your face tag team, the only face tag team that they sent out there. And two, you know, it's classy because if you go back to the last 3 or 4 years, the Hell in the Cell they had together, the ladder match they had together, those are instant classics. Those matches are going to stand the test of time, especially that Hell in the Cell. That Hell in the Cell was a really good match. I watched it recently.
They made the tag division. They definitely made it, and I mean, it was funny because out of all the wars we seen, and then when they forfeited, it was like such a great moment. But you know what they're gonna do. One more team, just like they did Kofi last week,
and it was Daniel Bryan and Rowan. And they came out on fire. They were throwing some ass whoopings. They were throwing a lot of the stuff that Daniel Bryan's been throwing lately has been very stiff as well.
Which I heard when he was in ROH. I wasn't really watching too much back then. Of other stuff, I watched a lot of WWE only. But back then, I've heard Daniel Bryan was incredibly like stiff like that. He was just crazy. So,
I heard that comes from that Japanese. That's all that time he spent in Japan because that's how they wrestle out there. They kick the shit out of each other. They literally kick the shit out of each other. They don't throw anything to the head full might, but leg kicks and body kicks, they throw them like if there's a Muay Thai fight. That's strong style.
It's crazy. I've watched the G1 Climax for the past few years now, and it's such a great. It's a month of just chaos. You know, it's craziness. But yeah, this is awesome. I was looking forward to seeing what they were going to do, and I figured they were going to do this. So they got the tag match going. It's just absolute chaos. This wasn't even really much of like a regular match.
It was more of a tornado match where the two legal guys kept finding themselves in the ring or getting in and out in between being counted out. It was more like a tornado tag match. It was just chaos, like you said.
Oh yeah, and then Daniel Bryan instructed Rowan And side note, Mustafa Ali is no longer Mustafa Ali. He's just Ali.
Ali Boombaye. Shout out to Will Smith.
So yeah, so Rowan cleans off the table, and then turn of events, New Day come back, and Big E rolls the table. He throws Eric Rowan over the table, and then he throws the table on top of him, and then the ref's counting. He counts 8, 9, 10. New Day win. They're going to WrestleMania. Kofi comes out. Kofi's in the title match.
Daniel Bryan stays intact. He doesn't get pinned. Rowan takes the L. He's the one who got counted out. And finally, the New Day doesn't get screwed.
Well, maybe.
Kofi going to WrestleMania.
Because Vince looked weird because they asked him. He was like, yeah, he's going to go to WrestleMania. And so, I mean, it's confirmed, but the locker room emptied. It was a feel-good moment. They started smacking the ring. I think that's like a wrestling thing. If all the wrestlers get out and they start banging on the outside of the ring, it's like it's almost like a symbolism for like congratulations.
Congratulations,
yeah. So I'm happy for Kofi. Crazy how all this last month has went for him. I'm pretty sure 2 months ago he probably had no idea he was about to be main eventing WrestleMania or being one of the main events of WrestleMania. Yeah. So he was the host a couple years ago. I mean,
yeah.
So SmackDown was on fire this week. I don't think that there was a segment that I did not like on this whole show. Besides being confused over the title match in the beginning, I think I'm pretty on fire for this whole match. Or this whole show was great.
I mean, it was entertaining from top to bottom. It opened up strong. It ended really strong. The one little slow part was the Angle Rey Mysterio part of it, but you need that little bit of a lull, so that especially after a Charlotte Flair Oscar match like you had, you didn't want to suck the air out of the room and then throw the gauntlet match after. So that little lull that you had in the middle, the Miz promo was excellent. 1 out of 5. What do you give it, brother?
1 out of 5. I'm going 4.5 out of 5. I wouldn't even give it a perfect 5. Probably I don't do that kind of stuff. It's closest to perfect as you can get. Like I said, going back through it, we had a fire. We had a great promo from the New Day to set up the main event of the night. Then we had an incredible women's title match, which was great quality match, even though it was a little bit weird booking decisions. And then we had some great promos. Yes, the Kurt segment, it was short, but it had a purpose.
We give that a pass just because it's Kurt Angle. He's 475 years old.
The Shane Miz segment was incredible. And then the gauntlet match, I mean, the squad, everything about it. The Usos was a nice touch. And I talked about it earlier. I said, let's see if they can make it different or if they do the same thing. And they kind of did the same thing, but they made it different in a sense that it, like last week's gauntlet match, they had the beatdown as the difference maker and not, a disqualification. And this time they had a forfeit and then a count out. So it's almost the same thing, but it was a different spice. If that makes sense. It was like they had tacos, but it was a different type of taco.
They had the green sauce this time instead of the red.
Yeah, exactly. So 4.5 now.
Something you said didn't come true, but they did a version of it, and I don't know if you noticed. During the gauntlet match, every time they went backstage, did you know more and more faces were watching the match with them?
Yeah, they did. They did it again. Becky was there. I noticed that. I love Becky.
And Ray, and then it turned into Becky, Ray, and the Hardys, and then R-Truth, and then Asuka, and next thing you know, everybody was there.
Yeah, it was great. I love it.
Really good. So, you said you would never give anything a 5 last week, and you gave this a 4.5. Wow. Is it that I caught you right after and the adrenaline's still running?
Oh yeah, this is a good show.
That's pretty much it.
I loved
All
it.
right, I'm gonna have to I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a 4 because I'm not gonna jump out the window with you. you said 4.5 right out the window. I'm still up there like, did you make it? JB3, you good? He jumped right out the window. All right. It's been a great show. Once again, it's an honor to have my friend JB3, John Berryman. Next week, 2 shows. We're going to try to keep the Raw and SmackDown breakdown to under an hour. Basically, we're going to touch on what happened. And because it's going to be the go-home show, they're going to pretty much just open up story, try to funnel in storylines that going into WrestleMania as best as they could, where we're going to focus our energy on the breakdown show for WrestleMania. So, JB3, where can the people find you?
Hey, you can find me on Facebook right now, James Walter Berryman III. Don't spell out the third. It's 3 I's like Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is the man, and I can't wait to see his match at WrestleMania. It's going to be an honor to watch his last match. Kudos to you, Kurt Angle. And it's an honor to be on this podcast. I appreciate you, man, and I appreciate you having me. It inspires me to do more things like this. I think in the future, I'm going to be creating a YouTube channel and start talking more about wrestling on it. So I appreciate that.
Awesome, man. I'll talk to you. I got some ideas in the works. I got something in the works, and I think our chemistry works. As for me, I am the nasty one, Adonis Nazario. You can find me here on the Combat Wrestling Network, also on Full Metal and Multiplex, where I answer nerdy, dummy, stupid shit questions, and still waiting for a match. It's been a blast. It's been real. It's been fun. Once again, JB3, thank you again for joining me. And we are out of this thing. Deuces.